Okay, I want to discuss about another important method called equals. If you want to compare two employee objects, there are two ways of comparing employees objects. I'll tell you the both ways. See here, I have employee class and I'll take another constructor for this, which will take only name for now. Okay, I am having only a constructor which is taking only name. So for this employee class there are two constructors, one which is taking name as parameter and one which is not taking anything. Okay, see here in demo, I will create an employee and pass some name, okay, Varun here, and also I will create another employee object E2. Now I will say E is equals to E2. Will it print true or false? Tell me. False. Why? Yes. This is a first one is a separate object and second one is separate object. Both of them will be having different addresses. They are comparing the addresses. Now, if I don't want to compare addresses, I want to compare whether these two employees are logically equal or not. So tell me logically they are equal because names of the employees are same. So now what I can do is I can use E dot equals E2. So did I write any method called equals in employee? No, there is no method called equals in employee. It is inherited from object. Tell me what it will print. True or false? False. Because but it should, I am expecting it to print true. Because names of employees are equal. Both employees are created in the same way. Logically they appear to be same, but it is printing false. Because no, not string. Equals method, I didn't give equals method body here in employee. It is inherited from object. And also I told there will be, whenever an object is created inside a JVM, each object is allocated a unique hash code. Right? So equals method inherited from object will be comparing the hash code of the two objects. Right? So equals method which is inherited from object will be comparing hash codes. But now I don't want to compare two objects by using their hash codes. I want to compare two employees by using their names. Logical equality. I will define how my employee objects are equal. So according to me, I say that if two employee objects are equal, if their names are equal, right? So what I can do is I can override equals method. See again, while overriding, use first two letters and press enter. This is how I can override. When overriding, the signature of the method should be same. Should be same. Okay, signature is same now. Object O. Okay, tell me to this equals method what all objects I can pass. See, equals method is taking superclass reference. I can pass string object also here. Any object, right? But normally we try to compare one employee with another employee only. Normally, right? See the concept carefully. Can I do like this? Employee E is equals to typecasting to O. See the demo here. I am calling E1 dot equals E2. For equals method, what I am passing employee object as parameter. So this method will be called O will be pointing to an object of employee now, right? But if I just say employee E is equals to O, the compiler will give error. Why? Yes, the concept of typecasting I told, right? Yet the compiler will compare based on types. What is the type of O? So for bigger type. What is the type of E? Employee, small type. I cannot keep bigger type inside a small type. The compiler will always compile based on types. So it is not possible. If I want to assure the compiler, I need to typecast. Okay, now the compiler will not give any error. Now what I can do is, I want to compare employees based on their names, right? Or to make it simple, I will try to compare based on IDs. Employee IDs. Two employee IDs are equal, then it is also returning true. So E dot ID is equals to this dot. This means the current object. Oh, employee ID. Here it is. Employee ID. So now my equals method I have overdone, that says that if two employee IDs are equal, this will be equal, right? Now here tell me again, will it return true or false? I am giving names, am I passing ID? By default ID of type int, it will be having 0. So two employees will be having 0. It should return true now, right? So like that I can override employee like whatever I want. Now suppose if I want to compare two employees based on their names, how do I do it? I need to compare E dot name with this dot name. E dot name, but name is a string, right? How to compare two strings? String is already having equals method. Name dot E dot name dot equals this dot name. So now I am comparing two employees by using employee names. Now it should return true because both the employee names are same. But what if I say second employee name is, instead of Varun I say Tarun. Okay, now it should return, right? So you should understand the importance of equals method. Any doubts? Here, right? Previously I compared employees by using employee IDs, it was very clear. But now I want to compare two employees by using the names. If names of two employees are equal, I want to treat the employee objects are also equal. E dot name. I want to compare E dot name with this dot name. Name is a string. For comparing two strings, we have equals method in string. So I am calling E dot name dot equals. I am calling equals method on string. This dot name. Right? This will return E dot name dot equals, returns true or false accordingly. Right? That is returned. So two employees are equal only if their names are equal. Any doubts? Okay. This is the importance of equals method. I have a doubt now. Why did I typecast? Why can't I use O dot name? Sorry, E dot name instead of E. See, why can't I use like this? O dot name. Tell me. Superclass reference can point to the subclass object. Okay. But by using superclass reference, I can access the ones present in superclass only. Name is not present in superclass. Right? So to access subclass properties or methods, you need to typecast. But now, is this a good code? Do you consider this as a good code, these two lines? No, I said, because equals method is taking object. I can pass string object also. Okay, let us see here. What if I pass string object instead of employee? E1 dot E dot equals Varun. So equals method is accepting Varun also string because equals method is expecting object. So now if I run this, I am getting class cast exception. String cannot be cast to employee. At which line? At line number 2. Here I am trying to cast string object. O is pointing to string. I am typecasting it to employee. Okay? Which is not correct. So I should not typecast. So what I should do is, I should check whether O is really pointing to employee object, because when typecasting, what I said, I am assuring the compiler, don't worry, I will make sure that O will be pointing to an object of employee. That's the meaning of this typecasting, right? But did I ensure? Did I check whether O is pointing to employee or not? No, that is the reason why I got an exception. Right? If I want to check, what I can do is, if O instance of, this is a keyword, instance of employee, then only I will typecast else return false always. If you are passing something other than employee, it should always return false. If you are passing employee object, we are typecasting and comparing, right? This is a good. So what you understood here is how to use instance of. Instance of is an operator which is used to compare whether the reference is pointing to that type or not. Okay, now if I pass string, this will not be satisfied. It will return false. It will not return any exception. See, now I'll run it. It is returning false because employee object can never be equal to string, right? So this is how you have to override equals method. Later I will give a lot of examples on overriding equals. These are very basic which you have to understand. Okay? Any doubts? I'll continue. Earlier we were talking about abstract classes and interfaces, right? Now I have a doubt. In an abstract class, can all methods have body? Yes or no? No? At least one method should be abstract? No? Yes. In an abstract class, all methods can have body. All methods can be concrete. But why should I make it abstract? Because I don't want the object of the class to be created. Right? Abstract class can have all concrete methods also. It's not mandated to have at least one abstract method. Okay? But what is the reverse? If a class has at least one abstract method, it should be abstract. Okay. Now, tell me, in this interface, can I have variables? As I said, interface is also a class. A class can have variables and methods. Now, in this interface, I will declare a variable int something, int I. It's not giving any compilation error, but it's giving some error. What is it saying? Blank final field may not have been initialized. Okay, let me introduce now what is final. We talked about final yesterday. If I make a class as final,
it cannot be inherited.
It cannot be inherited. A class is final, it cannot be inherited. If I make a method as final, it cannot be overridden. If I make a field as final, it cannot be changed. It's a constant. If you want to define constants in Java, you have to use final. Okay, now here is saying final field may not be initialized. That means that by default all the variables declared inside an interface are by default final. Final variables have to be initialized then and there itself. Whatever I can say 50. Okay, and is this an instance variable? Suppose I said interface also is a class. This is an instance variable, right? How can you access instance variables? By using objects. Can you create an object of interface? No. So interface cannot have instance variables. Instance variable is having a meaning only if you are able to create instance of it. You cannot create an instance of it means you cannot create an object of reader, right? So if you cannot create an object of reader, there is no point saying that this is instance variable, right? Without creating an object, if you want to access a variable, what you should do? You have to make it static. So by default, even though you declare it or not, it is static. And here it has to be public. If it is private, it cannot be visible outside. It has to be public. Otherwise, it is of no use. So by default, a variable inside an interface is by default public, static, and also final. By default, it is these three: public, static, and final. Even though I remove this, by default it is public, static. Okay. Now tell me, one interface can extend other interfaces, true or false? Yes. Okay, I'll show you an example very quickly, a dummy example. I am creating a new interface. See, this is a way to create an interface. New interface I1, or I say I first. It's not a good practice to use I1, I2, I3. I first. And here I am writing a method public void method m, and I am defining another interface I second. Here I will declare another method public void n. Now I will create third interface also, I third. Extends I first, and I will have a method public void some x. Now tell me, how many methods are present in I third? One method m is inherited from, there are two methods. One method is inherited, right? One interface can extend other interfaces, and one interface can extend more than one also. I can say like this, I second. So I third is extending both I first and I second. Is it not multiple inheritance? One thing extending more than one. Multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance of interfaces is possible. One interface can extend more than one interface, but multiple inheritance of classes is not possible in Java. Why? Can you tell me a reason why multiple inheritance of classes is not possible?
Because the implementation can be there in few classes.
Okay. Okay. Yes. 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 Very good. I'll put it in proper words. Okay. Let me put her things in proper words. I'll just see now here. X is having m and n methods. Y is extending m, and Z is extending. So y is extending x and overriding m. Z is extending x and overriding m. Now let's assume that class A is inherited from both the things. A is inherited from y and also from z. Now the method definition m comes from two places. Which method m to inherit here in A? There is a confusion, right? But suppose that x is an interface, y is an interface, and z is an interface. Okay. Now when y is extending x, only signature is inherited, right? Only signature is inherited. Signature is same here and same here. And when A is implementing both, now same signature is coming, no implementation, right? When the signature is same, there is no problem at all. So multiple inheritance of classes is not supported because two definitions of M will come here. But multiple inheritance of interface is supported because when you are inheriting interfaces, only declarations, definition is coming, right? So that is the reason why multiple inheritance of interfaces is possible and why multiple inheritance of classes is not possible. Any doubts? Okay. Now tell me, one class can implement one interface or many interfaces? One class can implement many interfaces. Yes, that you should understand. That's it.